Hi, I'm Jim Clifford.
And I'm Rick Jusenius. We're both with Washington Realty Group.
We've been working together. We were trying to figure it out somewhere around 9 or 10 years. And today we're going to talk about the least popular tax in America, your property tax.
Oh boy.
You know, it was interesting when I was doing the blog for this month to find, when I went through and found out that there actually was a poll done, and the poll said that property taxes are the least popular tax of all the taxes that Americans pay.
Well, and I was just pondering this the other day, and I was just taking a look at, like one little neighborhood, and if you were to calculate what is collected on an annual basis, I mean, the amount of monies that we're talking about here are absolutely staggering. The most of which does go for state school support. And yes, it's really important that we support our schools, but I think we need to dig a little bit deeper.
Okay. Well, actually, property tax is the third highest revenue for the state of Washington. Number one is sales tax, number two is B&O, and then property tax is actually number 3.
Gosh, and I would have figured property taxes would have been numero uno, but
That just shows you how much we pay without really knowing what we pay, because property tax is not a hidden tax. We pay, you get a statement that says, hey, here's this big amount of money, now you get to pay it, this amount of money. Whereas sales tax, you go and you fill up your car. How much money did you pay in sales tax when you filled your car up?
well, obviously a tax here and a tax there, they all add up to be a huge pile of money. Talking about a huge pile of money, what do you think, Jim, about how important are good schools?
Well, I think as far as finding a home and where you want to buy, the number one question that people always ask about is, how are the schools? Or they've already done the research themselves and said, that's the school district I want to live in.
And back when I was just a couple of years younger, that was super important to me when I had kids in school. And that was one of the things that my wife and I, looked at was, well, how good are the schools? I have a huge beef with how the school districts, and for that matter, how government spends a lot of our money. I think they could be a lot more efficient. And this is my opinion, but the typical classroom size of, say, 30 kids, if you take the mandated state school support, that equals out to be about $500,000 a year for every classroom with 30 kids in it. And I think from personal experience that teachers aren't making $500,000 a year.
Since my wife is a retired school teacher, no, I know they aren't making $500,000.
So let's just say they're making $100,000 a year.
Wouldn't that be nice?
But let's just say that. Where does the other $400,000 go? And I'm not trying to trash teachers. I think great schools make great communities. Unfortunately, in this country, we spend more on education than any other country in the world. And if you were to look at the statistics, we're way down the list in terms of how good of an education, do our kids receive. This is only one small segment of where does all the money go. But boy, wouldn't it be great if we could generate some, efficiencies in a lot of these state expenditures and get a little more bang for our buck, and even make our schools better than they are today.
Well, I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't want better schools. I think the school districts, for the most part, are pretty transparent, and they do try to come out and tell people where they're spending the money and how they're spending the money. I think that the system itself is the problem, not the school districts. I think that what happens is the state being involved by taking the money first instead of the money going directly to the district is the mistake. And I think that they should never have put the money into the general fund from the property taxes. What the property taxes should have been strictly set up for the school districts and the parks and the other things that they pay for, but it should have gone directly to them and the state legislature should have kept their hands off of it. But hey, that's a long, long conversation, so.
Well, I just think whatever a person can do to maybe get involved in their local school board, look very carefully when you're going through a voter's pamphlet. You know, it doesn't matter to me if you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. From my own personal perspective, I think it's really about being good stewards of our money.
I agree with you.
And being good stewards of our money means that, you know, our kids will get a better education, hopefully at a lower cost. Maybe we'll get better freeways, hopefully at a lower cost.
Wow, are we off of the schools? Let's stay with the property taxes and.
Well, just because they go so many different directions, and all I was trying to reference there was just creating some efficiencies that apparently do not exist today.
I agree with you. So, well, that was a very long conversation about taxes, and I hope you stuck through the whole thing, because you know what? You get two people and you get 5 different opinions of taxes. So, thank you for watching.
Thanks for taking the time, and we appreciate your confidence and trust in Washington Realty Group.